Today I'm starting a new series called How to Build an Adventure Map in Fortnite Creative. I did a series last month where we built a dropper starting from scratch and kind of the whole process. If you want to watch that, you can go to the link in the description below. Throughout that series, I got a lot of comments and people asking for me to make something similar but with an adventure map. Today, we start that. In this video, we're going to talk about how to get inspiration for your map, how to make your map unique, and then I'm going to start building out my map and just get through the first steps of starting an adventure map. Okay, let's go. Okay, first let's talk about the hardest step, I think, in building an adventure map. It's getting the idea for what your map's gonna be. Building a death run or a dropper or a 1v1 map is easy. You're not having to come up with a story. Don't even really have to have a cool design. But when you're doing an adventure map, you have to have something that grips people into the story. It has to look good. It has to play good. Adventure maps are the hardest type of map to make in creative mode, but they're my favorite ones to build because I'm more invested in it. And I said this in my last series, and I'm gonna say it again. If you're building this for any other reason than to have fun, then you're building for the wrong reason. You can have other secondary motivations like I want a YouTuber to play it, or I want to make some money for people using my code in the item shop. Those are great motivations, but the number one should be to have fun. All right, enough of that. Let's get into ideas on how to get ideas for your adventure map. Sometimes it's really hard to come up with ideas for adventure maps. And here's 3 things I like to do to get inspiration. Number 1 is go and play other people's maps. Honestly, you could just go to dropnight.com and then find the maps that you want to play. Like right here's adventure maps. You can click on here and see all the new adventure maps people have built. Oh, look, here's one by Lundell YouTube. He's an amazing map maker. You can go and play the quest final chapter. Oh, look, it's the 4th dimension. You can go play that. There are an endless amount of maps here that you can go and play to get inspiration. Number 2, go watch a movie or a show, read a book, listen to some songs. You may just be inspired with an awesome idea from someone else's creativity. Number 3, get out of the house. Go for a hike or a walk. Look at nature. Go to a store like a Walmart or something and just walk around and try to get inspiration. You'll be amazed at the random things that you look at that will trigger ideas in your head. You have your idea, you're feeling inspired. Now, what are you gonna do in your map that is going to impress people? One thing I've always loved and wish I saw more of is recreations of other video games, movies, etc. Earlier this week, I played an awesome Star Wars map. It just was so beautiful. I wish there was more of that in creative mode. I built a map a little while ago that was a total recreation of the original Legend of Zelda, and I feel like it turned out really well. I just thought it was really cool. It had working dungeons, and it really did look like the original Legend of Zelda map. So if you're struggling with finding ideas, just try to recreate something that no one else has done before. There are a ton of things out there. For example, for Halloween or Christmas, I don't know why I haven't seen someone do a recreation of Nightmare Before Christmas yet. There's so many fun things you could do just with that one movie. When you're doing recreations, be sure to include as much nostalgia as possible so that people have that feeling as they're playing your map. If you can conjure up those feelings that people get when they watch that movie or play that game, then your map is going to be successful. What if you want to do something original that's not a recreation? Try to think of something that no one else has done before. With the 4th dimension map that I recently did with Team Create, my idea was to link maps together in a way that was like a full video game that no one had done before in creative mode. And it turned into something that was really cool and unique. Just knowing what you want to do at the beginning helps throughout the whole development. So maybe you want to build a horror map, then you can build off of that. Maybe you want to build a Christmas map, or maybe you know that there's a new Star Wars movie coming out, so you can start building something that's gonna attract people to your map based on Star Wars. Maybe there's a really cool new mechanic that came out in creative mode that you can use that makes your map unique. So what is that idea that's gonna be cool for your map that no one else has either used yet, or something that you can just perfect and make it that much cooler than I did or any other map maker? All right, let's talk about the map that I want to build in this series. I want to do a fun choose your own adventure map where if you choose A, something happens. If you choose B, something different happens. There will be multiple endings, something that's like more normal, and then I want something that's like really out of this world, kind of, it just changes and gets really weird. I also wanted to have like characters in the map that you recognize, have personalities, etc. And as the story develops, you get to know them better, and they lead you through what's happening in the map. That's the concept. I have seen some choose your own adventure maps before but nothing like to the scale that I want to do. Maybe this idea ends up being really too big and we'll have to make adjustments as we go, but that's really the process of building an adventure map. You just kind of have to start, and then as it develops, you make adjustments as you need to. Okay, let's just jump into starting this map. Okay, the first step when you're building a map is you got to come up to your rift right here, and then you got to choose what map you're gonna do. You're gonna hit create new, and then choose what starter island you want. I usually like these flat grassy ones or just the blank one to start off, but it depends on what your map is, right? If you want more of a desert theme, pick the desert flat one, or maybe you want a island water feel or an icy feel, you know. So choose the map that you want and then hit confirm, and then you name your island here and then hit confirm. So here's our island. We're gonna jump into it. Let's go. Okay, we've got our big flat grassy island here, and the first thing I always do when I'm starting a map is I go into my island settings right here, and then I change the time of day to 12 p.m. So basically what this is doing is making it so it's light out and so I can see everything. And usually this is the lighting I use for my maps, unless I'm using like a horror map or something like that. But that's the first step, is change the time of day. Then I also like to go into the game settings and change the time limit to off, because when I test my map, and sometimes it takes longer than 5 minutes of testing, and I hate when I like run out of time in the middle of testing. So those are the two settings I change right when I'm starting. And then I go around my island and I delete all of the excess like stuff out here. So these things are right there. This lamp, these trees, those rocks, they're all taking up memory that I'm gonna need later in my map. Adventure maps take up a lot of memory typically, just because you're doing more design kind of stuff and using up a lot of space. And so this stuff is just taking up memory. Each of these unique pieces takes up a certain amount of space. So like even if I copy this, so you look at my memory usage right now, it's at 2089, and then if I copy it and place, you can see it goes up by 3. But when you have unique items, like the first of its type, it takes up a lot more memory. So you can see right here, we're at 1552. This is the last rock of this type on the island. And when we delete it, boom, it drops down to 1377. So that was taking up a lot of space just to have that one unique piece. So you have to be very careful when you're choosing what pieces you're gonna place on your island, because we can take one piece and use it a ton of times, and it's not going to take up anywhere near as much memory as just throwing down another unique piece. So sometimes you got to get really creative with using the same piece in different ways. That's how I built my Zelda map that had all of these awesome mountains around, but I was really just using the one unique piece just in different ways. So you look at here, I went from having somewhere around 4,000 of my memory used, and I'm down to 2 because I've deleted all of the excess on my map. Okay, so we've got everything deleted, and now I want to choose some of my characters that I'm gonna have that reoccur throughout my maps. Okay, so I've got a few of these prefab galleries that have things in it that I want. Like this guy, I wanted the dumpling guy as like a character. So I'm throwing this out, and then I'm deleting all of the excess stuff that I'm just not gonna use at the moment. Maybe I'll use some of the props here later, but for now I just want my characters kind of all lined out that maybe I'll use at some point in my map. So I've got all of my potential characters here. I'm not necessarily going to use them all, because look, it's already taking over 10,000 of memory to have all of these different pieces out here. But I think some of these guys over here, like Jonesy, these two jokers, the gnomes, the bear, are going to be some of our main characters. Maybe I'll use the dinosaurs. Maybe I'll use Tomato Head and the ice cream guy, or definitely I think I'm going to use the different snowmen. So I just want to throw them all out so I can see how much memory they took, and I'll probably be reusing these items multiple times in my map. Okay, so I know we didn't do a lot on my map today, but really the hardest part is deciding what you're gonna do, getting inspiration for it, and then outlining what your maps are gonna kind of look like, and then getting going. So in the next video, we'll actually get into building out my map, but this one I think is really one of the most important steps, is just getting the idea and then moving forward. I hope this helped today. If you guys want to watch my other how to build a map from scratch series, you can click right here to watch that. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We do fun stuff like this in creative mode every day. All right, guys, I can't wait to get into this adventure with you. I love you, and have a good day.